We've just had 3 consecutive days of tournaments in the EU, and there's a lot of news to bring you. We've had Mongraal and MrSavage hitting form, new duos and squads forming. I want to get into all of that in this video. Let's get straight into it. Before we get into the duo and squad victory cups, let's talk about Friday, when we had the first reload tournament of the season. These reload cups are a little bit odd. I did put out a tweet saying, but I wasn't sure if the format was innovative or just a bit strange. If I'm being real, I'm not the biggest fan of reload competitive, but for a mini season, I don't mind it. The first game was won by Pablo Wingu and Chino. They were contesting Veno and Fridoxy at Slurpy Swamp. Usually we'd be seeing the duos of Veno and Chino and Pablo Wingu and Fridoxy, but they chose to swap around for a bit of fun during this tournament. We had the Russian team of Howley and Lucia win game 2, and then Gobav and Ograjek won game 3. A big shout out to Dan Depuzo and Hizix. They narrowly missed out on a win, coming 2nd, 5th and 4th in their games. Unlucky for them. On Saturday we have the Duo Victory Cup, and the big winners from that were Darm and Demus. They managed 2 wins and finals. I'm going to talk a lot more about them later on in the video. The interesting part of this tournament that I thought I'd break down for you guys is the new teams, or rather I should say the teams for this season, because I don't think many of them will stick. We had Fridoxy playing this cup with Tayson. Obviously that's not going to be a real duo, but it was interesting to see how they get on. Pablo Wingu played with Zarbi, the Swedish player. We then also had Swizzy playing with Pixie, Vanya and Wox, their normal teammates, both not even playing the tournament. We did also have Pink trying out with Uppel. Maybe that could be a real duo for next season, who knows. At the end of the day, this is the season where you want to be testing out with new teammates. I'm aware that a lot of these players are just doing it for a bit of fun. Obviously we know that Vanya and Swizzy, Fridoxy and Pablo are going to be real teams for next year, but it's still good for them to experiment and get outside of their comfort zone, play with new players and develop their playstyle. Now let's get into the main tournament that I want to discuss, which was yesterday's Squad Victory Cup. It feels like we haven't had a squad tournament in forever. Don't get me wrong, squads is still my least favourite game mode out of the 4, but I do like watching it every now and again, and it's a shame we haven't seen any tournaments for the mode since Squad FNCS really, and that was back in Chapter 2 Season 1. Anyway, that aside, this tournament was fun to watch. Unfortunately, Siphon was bugged for the first half of it, which was a shame, but besides that, it was good. We had 27 teams manage to earn money in the finals by winning a game, and 2 of those teams managed to win 2 games. One of those squads was Cami, Hari, Darm and Demus. Now, I said I'd mention Darm and Demus later on again in this video, and I am going to now. 2 wins in the Duo Victory Cup, and then 2 wins in the Squad Victory Cup. They are in incredible form. I've lost count of how many times I've said this, but Darm and Demus have been incredible this year. Their breakout alongside Pix has been exceptional. Managing 3rd and 5th in FNCSs, a 6th place in Globals, and now this, they are just going from strength to strength. Other than the 2 solo tournaments at the end of last season, which they kind of underperformed in, they have just been so good in 2025. Cami and Hari have been brilliant lately too. Obviously Cami managing 1st and 2nd in the solo tournaments. Hari nearly winning the solo series. He would have if he hadn't have been killed by a cheater in game 1. All 4 of these players have been brilliant. And to play only 3 games and manage 2 wins and a 22 elimination 3rd place is exceptional. One other squad also managed 2 wins. That was the Spanish team of Yarko, Kier, Sayaz and Scary Sean. A big performance from them. They're all names that we're starting to see a lot more at the top end of leaderboards. I definitely think we're starting to see Spain perform a lot better as a country. Traditionally they haven't produced that many great Fortnite players, but it feels like they've got a lot of promising talents on the horizon. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Spanish duo make globals next year. Someone else that did quite well in this tournament was Mongraal. He played with Mixon, Giras and Franek, and they managed to get a win in the finals. I think Mongraal's improved a lot lately, especially over the last month. I think him and Mixon have serious potential. I did put a tweet out about that the other day. I'll read that to you now. Anyone else loving Mongraal's arc as an honorary Polish player? Mixon is such a great fit for him, and they look good in the squad alongside Giras and Franek. I genuinely believe Mongraal fans should be excited about what 2026 could hold. Globals is within reach for this duo. In Mongraal you have a proven player. I do feel like I've underrated him a little bit this year. I feel like I didn't recognise how high his skill level was, and then with Mixon you have someone that made the most recent globals. I do think all the ingredients are there for this team. Alongside Giras and Franek, not only did they manage a win in finals, they also won 4 out of 5 of their opens games. This is the most positive I've felt about Mongraal since he was playing with Savage and Panzer back in Chapter 6 Season 1. I do genuinely feel like good things might be on the horizon. And speaking of MrSavage, he did well in the tournament too. He played with Seti, Yapko and Panzer, which was obviously a trio from Globals that came 3rd, but they've all got lots of experience playing with each other. Savage obviously currently playing with Yapko, previously played with Panzer, so it made a lot of sense and the squad looked good. They did manage a win in finals. I spoke a lot about Savage and Yapko in my last video, so if you're interested to hear what I had to say about them, go back and watch it. But the summary is, I do think they're looking very good, and I'm excited to see what the future holds for them. There's a couple of other squads I want to pick out. We had Vico and Chap playing with Swizzy and MrSavage, probably the most stacked team out of all the squads, and they managed to win in finals. Also a shout out to Chino, Marius, Pablo Wingu and Lunex, who won the Opens round. And just a quick word on Pradaj, Finchik, Phyto and Radion, who got back-to-back seconds in finals. Agonizing for them. I want to run through some of the other squads we saw in the tournament, because I do find it quite interesting to see which players choose to play with who. Hopefully you guys can find that interesting as well. We had the all-Danish squad of Fredoxy, Thomas HD, Anas and Refsgard. We had Pink and Opal play with Sato and Mumsy. We had the all-French trio of Akira, Karama, Skyjump and Werex. We had Moneymaker and Fanayan playing with Cringe and Volko. Haris and Tiddy playing with Faded Pigeon and Skavi. Kantry and Dexy with Rakuzan and Kashi. CZB and Nathan with Axe Force and Eclipse. And Nebs and Mappy with Bevies and Fistroki. All of those teams managed to win in finals. I'll just run through some of the notable squads that didn't get a win. We had Eyedrop and Pix play with Sky and Scroll. We had the all-Swedish team of Pixie, Wox, Roban and Zabi. We have a CIS team of Malabuka, Ping, Lucia and Howley, the Italian team of Rax, Alizi, Sabari and Darky that had looked so good in scrims up until this point. We had the Balkan team of Teeny, Tayson, Trulex and Chicho. Vanya, Sined, Wheat and the Frizzy teamed up, as did Flixie, Prax, Cheatin and Glubshi. Rounding off the list, we had Podosai, Acer, Jew and Aware. We then had Robin, Kaduo, Kaito and Haijo. The Danish squad of Shrapped, Skrill, Hellfire and Trippin. And finally, we had Vidil, Yanis, Trexa and Khan. Before I talk about NA Central and NA West, I also want to give a shout out to Clown, Gabix, Ark and Faki, who managed a 57 kill win in Opens, but unfortunately couldn't qualify to finals. In terms of how European teams did on the American servers, we had Ricky, Zangi, Zara and Belusi win a game on NA Central, and then even more impressively, we had Velo, Cringe, Twy and Scroll win a game on NA West, which is just incredibly impressive considering how high the ping must have been. A big achievement for them. I'm quite used to seeing Scroll, Cringe and Velo do well on the NA regions. Their playstyles are so refined that they're able to do well on high ping consistently. We did also have Pink and Sato win a game on Central. They teamed up with the NA players Evan and Dozer. And finally, Queasy, who is currently out in Dallas, won a game with his squad of Cooper, Sphinx and Victor V. Comment below what you guys thought about this weekend's Victory Cups. Which squads did you enjoy watching? Which players do you want to see playing with each other next week? I want to hear what you guys think. Thank you very much for watching the video. See you in the next one.